In this YouTube video, I will be showing you how to use fortification, how to solve a fortification of semi-solid using alligation alternate. I will reserve a separate video for showing you how to use ratio and proportion to solve a fortification question. So this fortification of semi-solid will be over 2 recordings on the semi-solid playlist. Let's get started. Now, this question was given in the Pharmaceutical Practice textbook, page 306 of the 15th edition. How many grams of zinc oxide powder should be added to 3,200 grams of a 5% zinc oxide ointment? So again, the stock is fixed. It's 3,200 grams, a 5% zinc oxide ointment. That's what we have. And we need to add some zinc oxide to it, which is treated as 100%. It's a pure powder to make a 20% ointment. So you cannot move on to fortification if you have not really appreciated the recent videos for how to understand what is a stock. A stock is something you have in your warehouse on your shelf. It is made, it has diluent and drug, or it may be an excipient being carried by a bland base, and so you need to use it to make another preparation. So let's go. Let's look at our table. So in the recent video, I showed you how to set up your columns for alligation alternate. So here in column 1, we're adding zinc oxide powder, which is 100%, that's a pure powder. The zinc oxide ointment, which is 5%, that's what is given. And we desire, C, a 20% ointment. So remember, we subtract diagonal, but we read and interpret horizontal. So it's 20 minus 5 to give us 15 parts. We're always solving not for grams, but parts. So 15 parts of, we read across, the zinc oxide powder should be given. And this is where I stop to say, I have seen over and over again where students solve it nicely. The diagram is good, but they flip the script where the 80 parts become the powder and the 15 becomes the ointment, and just undo all that beautiful work that they have done. It's important for pharmaceutical calculation, statements, sentences come alongside your calculation. It's not just numbers, it's numbers plus words. All right, so let's move on to the next part, which is the zinc oxide powder and the desired, to tell us the quantity of the zinc oxide ointment, 5%. But we know it's fixed. For fortification, a portion of the parts calculation is very fixed. So here we have 100 minus 20 to give you 80 parts. Remember, it's not grams. It's 80 parts, but how we read it, the 80 parts in fortification represents the fixed quantity of 3,200 grams of 5% ointment. Now, what does this mean? Let's move on. It means that the zinc oxide ointment, 3,200 grams, is 80 parts of the recipe. It is the bulk of the recipe. It's the largest ingredient in the recipe. And, well, larger, because there's only 2. And then the zinc oxide powder, which is the additional, which is being used to fortify, which means you're strengthening the ointment by adding pure drug, is 15 parts. Now, let's look at it. 80 parts represent 3,200 grams. So 15 parts of zinc oxide powder is 600 grams. And believe it or not, you're finished, right? So that's the new formula. The new formula is 3,800 grams. So with fortification, you never know the total ointment mixture. You never know the final mixture, the volume. That's what you're all, that's an unknown, right? What you always know is one of the ingredients is always fixed, concentration and quantity. And you're always fortifying it with a pure drug. That's the principle. Now look in, let me see what this one is. look in, we're going to look at it. This is option 2, where we are going to look at the fortification using ratio and proportion. So this is where I'm going to stop the recording, keep the recording to the 5 minutes, and we're going to pick up in the playlist from right here using ratio and proportion to solve fortification questions. Thank you.